Hello and welcome to On the Record with me, Shereen. Bhan. The Cabinet yesterday decided to clear a 200 rupee cut on every cylinder of LPG. It works out to a subsidy of about 400 rupees a cylinder as far as the Ujjwala scheme beneficiaries are concerned. But to talk about the LPG economics and more importantly to talk about what next as far as the government's measures are concerned, joining me now is the Minister for Oil and Gas, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri. Mr. Puri, always a pleasure. Appreciate you joining us here on CNBC-TV18. Sir, if I could start by talking to you about the LPG economics, and what we are given to understand at this point in time is that the 200 rupee cut is across the board for all 33 crore beneficiaries. It works out to a subsidy of about 400 rupees per cylinder under the Ujjwala scheme. Does the government believe that, given the fact that there is no cash loss as of today or no under-recovery as of today on LPG, there is no need for any subsidy on the non-Ujjwala part?
First of all, Shereen ji, thank you very much for having me on your show. The pleasure in interacting with you is always mine. Let me run you through some of the basics of the arithmetics. I don't even call it the economics. You're absolutely right. There is a 200 rupees cut in price for the gas, LPG, liquefied petroleum gas cylinder. Today, we have approximately 32 crore connections. Shereen ji, in 2014, the number of connections were about 14 crores. 45% of our population, that is the population of users, were outside this LPG cylinder system. What does that mean? Cylinders were difficult to get. There was a black market on the cylinders. People had to bribe their way through the supply man, etc. All kinds of things happened. We brought that from 14 crore connections to 32 crore connections. Today, an LPG cylinder is available wherever you want it, in any part of the country. And we are augmenting that through supply of natural gas through a pipeline. We had 14,000 kilometers of pipeline in 2014. We've taken that to about 23,500 kilometers of pipeline, and we are hoping, madam, to raise it to 33,000 kilometers of pipeline before long. Now let me come back to cylinder and subsidies and cut-in prices. It's a very interesting system. If you go into whether there are recoveries, under-recoveries, etc., you will never be able to get precise answers. As, for instance, gas pricing on natural gas. We've had to introduce formulae in order to insulate the consumer. Here what we've done is it's a 200 rupees straight cut for every LPG cylinder. And in addition to that, the beneficiaries of the Ujjwala scheme till yesterday were 9 crore 60 lakhs. All of them were getting a 200 rupees payment under DBT, which was going straight into their khata. For them, it's a 400 rupees benefit. That is 200 rupees gas cylinders reduction from 1100 to 900, plus their subsidy, it comes down to 700. Yeah. So in over, it's a combination of a very bold political decision by the Honorable Prime Minister and a decision which has far-reaching impact on the entire economy, the benefit to our sisters, which is a gift from him on the occasion of Onam and Raksha Bandhan. And as in the past, the OMCs, as good corporate citizens, took a loss. Later on, they were reimbursed. What will happen now? Because the recovery situation, OMCs in the first quarter of the financial year, madam, I'm talking about April, May, June, they all posted very healthy profits. And I just want to share a secret with you. When I used to sit down with my colleagues and friends, the CMDs, and they used to say, sir, under recovery ho rahi hai, ye nahi ho raha, wo nahi ho raha, daam badh raha hai. So I used to say, but you're also good corporate citizens. Today I can tell you with confidence, they've demonstrated that they are good corporate citizens. So who's the beneficiary? The consumer and the economy overall. Because the economy has been insulated from all the shocks. You've got enough availability, you have good affordability, and you've got very good track record on green transition and sustainability. So the Honorable Prime Minister has made it possible to take this timely decision, pass on the benefit to the consumer with every part of the ecosystem, both the OMCs and the state collaborating in order to make it possible.
It's always a pleasure to speak with you, sir. If I may, as you pointed out today, there is a situation where the OMCs find themselves in a much better position fiscally. But should that situation change because of global prices, etc., and there were to be a need for the government to provide subsidies, as was the case previously, you provided 22,000 crore rupees as part of the additional supplementary demand for grants last year, would that be accommodated should the need arise?
Look, Shereen ji, let me start with an opening thing that I'm normally not confident in addressing hypothetical situation. The good news is, so far, everybody has cooperated. You've been able to ensure that petrol and diesel prices have come down in the last 2 years. 5% is the petrol price decline, 2% or so is the 0.28% decline in diesel prices. LPG cylinders, despite the Saudi CPU having gone up by 303%, we allowed the increase only to up to about 63%. So there is a mutual give and take in all this. What would happen further? As I mentioned to you, madam, the first quarter, April, May, June has been good. They have posted reasonable returns. Some of them have posted more than reasonable returns. The next quarter, we are talking here about July, August, September. We are almost at the point of 2 months over and the third month starting. I have no doubt that the good performance of the first quarter could well be continued into the second quarter also. That's half the year. Now, how do we deal with the situation? Supposing some zigzags or under-recoveries take place, we have the confidence, we have the bandwidth of dealing with it between the OMCs and the government. So I'm confident that we will be able to navigate the situation further, both on availability and affordability.
Let me ask you one final question as far as LPG is concerned before I address other issues, sir. What is the rough estimate at this point in time as far as the Ujjwala scheme is concerned? Because there the subsidy goes up from 200 to 400 rupees. If I were to just take a look at the number of refills, for instance, 9.6 beneficiaries took no refill, 11.3% took only 1 refill, 56.5% took 4 or fewer refills in 21-22. On the back of those estimates, what would the rough estimate be in terms of the subsidy outgo on Ujjwala?
Madam, I have a very simple answer to this. Number one, the average, you take out how many people took one. The position in terms of refills on Ujjwala is very simple. You are allowed to take up to 12. But no household uses 12 refills. Not even the households which are in a situation of marginal or affluent subsistence. You don't need a 12-cylinder. So the average has gone up from 3 cylinders to 3.7 cylinders. Now, we are also separately carrying out an exercise. It is entirely possible that in one building, there's one Ujjwala connection in the name of Shereen. The other one is in the name of Shereen Kumari. Another one would be it's possible that these are happening and people don't need to take the connection. If there are households working together, I apologize, I'm taking your name, I could have used mine as well. So what is happening on an average, consumption is increasing from 3 to 3.7. And I must tell you, the subsidy has not gone up from 200 to 400. The subsidy continues to be 200 rupees for every Ujjwala beneficiary, except that the number of beneficiaries are going to increase from 9 crore 60 lakhs to 10 crores 35 lakhs. And in addition, what will happen is there are some people who are getting access to other mediums, or there are some people who feel that this average of 3.7 is close to 4 cylinders per family. In my assessment, and I've done a fair amount of studying on this, 4 cylinders plus is what an average household with a small family size would use.
Right. Mr. Puri, I have no issues whatsoever, sir, for my name to be used, except that I'm not a consumer of a cylinder anymore. I have moved on to piped gas. But if I could then move to talk to you about the potential or the possibility of another bold political decisions, sir. And the expectation is that this is a Raksha Bandhan and an Onam gift that the government has given to consumers. What can we expect next? Fuel prices, petrol and diesel, sir. The last time we saw an excise cut was on the 22nd of May of 2022 when the government cut excise by 8 rupees on petrol and 6 rupees on diesel. There's expectation building that perhaps that could be the next measure. Is it a fair expectation to have?
Shereen ji, I used your name with a degree of confidence because I knew you would not use an LPG cylinder. There's a story in that also. The number of people who are beneficiaries of piped gas through a connection has gone up from 25 lakhs in 2014 to 1 crore 25 lakhs or more, and it's increasing all the time. Second issue, piped gas is considerably cheaper than LPG. Now, you are in a festive mood. Raksha Bandhan, aapko shubhkamnaएं, aapke parivar ko shubhkamnaएं. What I want to tell you is, essentially, and in terms of sequence, the first step must be the BJP central government and states reduce their excise on 2 occasions, November 21 and May 2022. All the BJP states reduced their VAT. So I think it stands to reason that the non-BJP states should now bring down their VAT. They've been increasing it. Punjab increased it. So I request you, through your good offices, send the message out that the BJP, non-BJP states, instead of sending criticism our way, should look inwards and reduce the rate. And I promise you, we always like to meet our friends and collaborators at least halfway. And I think more such happy decisions as were announced by the Honorable Prime Minister. Once the non-BJP states reduce their non-VAT, I will become an advocate for further reduction, provided the non-BJP states do their bidding job first. And then we will step in to see what more can be done if the results are good.
So Mr. Puri, I'm just picking up on what you've said. You're essentially saying that any further cut in excise on either petrol or diesel will be incumbent on non-BJP states first cutting VAT?
Well, that's the construct you have put on it, that the non-BJP states must cut VAT first. I'm not given to speculation, but I'm going to tell you, in terms of the doctrine of common sense, central government reduces excise on 2 occasions, BJP states reduce their VAT. Otherwise, we'll have a band of guys who are criticizing us all the time and then raising their own revenue, which they put to non-productive uses. I mean, you've got a government in Punjab and a government in Delhi which admitted to a party, I'm talking about the party, they admitted to spending 1,100 crores on advertisements, Vigyapan, and they couldn't pay 400 crores for the RRTS project. Equally, they are raking it in on liquor, both legit and the scandal part, and they are not reducing VAT in Punjab. In fact, they increased the VAT recently. So all I'm saying is, yes, I'm in a slightly negotiating mood, but I'm not the guy who calls the shots. Yes, if the BJP states can reduce VAT, so can the non-BJP states reduce VAT. And if they reduce the VAT, we'd be very happy, kande se kande milake agle kadmon ka sochenge.
So if I could put a different argument on the table for you, given the fact that inflation is at this point in time a challenge and a concern, the Reserve Bank, of course, is doing what it can. Do you believe that there is a need for the government to consider bringing down excise on petrol and diesel to try and rein in inflation? Because while we have done much better in comparison to what the inflation situation is globally, it is above the RBI's comfort level at this point in time. If I were to put that argument before you, do you believe that it warrants consideration today?
You know, I mean, you always make an excellent intellectual point. I mean, if you are concerned about inflation, about which we are all concerned, there's always a case to be made out for ensuring that there are no interest rate hikes and not adding to an inflationary situation, making sure fuel prices are lower. That's a case which is always there. But you know, you and I live also in a world which could broadly be characterized as a political world. I mean, you want me to reduce excise, which I did. You want the BJP states to reduce VAT, which they did. Now, we'll all talk about inflation. Let's start by reduction of VAT in the non-BJP states. And then, you know, what my senior colleague Nirmala ji is tasked to do, what the RBI is tasked to do. I'll sit down with them and see what more we can do in this sector.